Hey guys, today I'm showing you another restoration I've been working on, and this video is actually for Corey and Robert Berry as well. The story is behind this one, guys, is that this was Robert Berry's first Memorymoog. You might remember a few months back I restored his Plus model. This is his standard model that he owned, and this is actually the one he toured with in the band 3. So it's got some really cool history on it. But recently he just sold it to Corey, and in between the transaction between the two, I ended up with it for a good restoration and good servicing and make sure everything's right on it. So I'm just going to go over it, Corey, with you and just kind of show you what you've got here and kind of some of the things I had to do to it to make it really nice for you. First of all, I cleaned it, as you can see. I detailed the chassis, conditioned the wood so it won't crack on you. Went through the interface, cleaned the interface panel up, cleaned all the buttons, and made things look right. As well as I took all the circuit boards out and recalced every board. You had a bunch of bad electrolytic capacitors, a bunch of noise on the lines. You had a lot of issues there. One issue you had was on voice 6, oscillator 2. The thermal compensation wasn't very good on it. It would actually drift out. And found out it was actually the Curtis chip, the 3340, which those are back in production. So I was able to put you one in it, and it works great. So oscillator 2 is now fixed on voice 6. The other issue was you had two broken pots right here for your frequency fine-tuned for each of your oscillators. One had actually snapped off and you didn't have the knob anymore. And I found you a knob. It's not exactly the right size knob. I had to actually bore it out to make it fit on the shaft. But the styling of the knob is absolutely spot on. You can't really tell it. It's the same diameter, same size. It was just the hole that the shaft goes in was too small of diameter. And so I had to bore it out. The only problem is when I bored it out is it's always very hard to get that thing centered. So as you can see, when I turn it, you can kind of see how it has a slight little curve to it. Not bad, but it's just one of those things that it kind of annoys me because I like things to be perfect, and that's just one of those things I just could not get exactly spot on. But with that said, also what I want to bring up too while I'm talking about these potentiometers is for anybody out there that has broken potentiometers, these are actually, I know there's a lot of people out there saying these are dual pots. Those are not dual pots. They're single pots with a clutch, and I got one over here I'm going to show you that broke. I just kind of want to show you how these things work as well. This is the pot here. This is actually your fine-tuned pot, and of course you can see the little small shaft is broke off. Well, if you look under here, I'm going to show you how this thing actually works. It's a single pot. Your large shaft is actually connected straight to the wiper, so when you turn it, you can see how those turn, and actually these little ball bearings are actually like a little clutch, and also a ratio. It changes the ratio. If you look in the middle, you'll see your actual small shaft. So when you turn it, I'll show you what happens. You can kind of see how fast these move when I turn the normal big shaft. Well, actually this is broke, so I'm going to pull this off, lay that down there, and then whoops, that was nice. But anyways, now I've got the little small shaft, and as you can see when I turn it, basically this clutch turns real slow, and when it bottoms out, what it does, instead of putting stress on the actual wiper, these little balls actually rotate and prevent damage to your pot. I mean damage to your wiper. It actually is it's a clutch is really what it is, and so it turns until it bottoms out. And then these little balls actually keep rotating to keep the torque off the actual pot itself. So that's actually what they are, guys. Anybody curious about how those work? That's it. That's the pot. But anyways, I'm going to go back over here, Corey, and go back to some of this again. I just turned the pot so you can see it shows the numbers that I turned. It was actually this one here. You can kind of see how every time I turn the pot, it'll change the value. It'll show you what your factory value is versus your actual edited value. So it's just kind of a cool little feature. You've also got a special little touch on this one, and it's a little special something that actual Robert Berry put on it for you. You got a signature from Robert Berry, and it says "Rock on, Corey." So that's a cool little touch there, and it looks really cool. I was actually the story is behind this. I know Robert Berry didn't want me to tell you, but when you see it, you're going to know that it was afterthought, which it actually worked out even better. When Robert Berry sent it to me, he forgot that he forgot to sign it for you, and so what we ended up doing is I had the idea. I said, well, hey, you know, I can pull a part off of it and send it to you. So that's what I did. I took off this panel here and I sent it to Robert Berry and let him sign it. And it worked out really well because now that's actually recessed, so you don't have to worry about scraping it. So it's really nice in there, and it looks really good and it's sharp, and I think that looks great. But once again, I cleaned all your back panels as well. I had to replace your power jack. Your actual power socket had some bad pins. I was in burn-in, and I started having some issues, and I found that it didn't have a ground reference. And then sometimes I could bump this and it would shut off. And actually, the pins inside your old connector was actually the latches were broke that hold it into the actual housing of the connector. So I just cut it out and I drilled out the rivets and I put some nice bolts in it with some lock washers and got you all fixed up there. So brand new power jack. Really, I just went through it, man. I got you fixed up. I'm going to show you just kind of how it sounds right quick. And I will show you that all voices are working. We'll go here and we'll go to debug mode. And you can actually see that all voices are working. Also, I'm probably going to do auto tune because I hadn't had this thing on long, and you'll find that you'll have to hit auto tune maybe twice. Once when you first turn it on to give a few minutes, and then another time after it warms up completely, and that puts all the voices back in tune. But you should see that it says 6 tuned, and it does. And now if you listen, you can hear they're all great and in tune now. And actually what you're hearing the pulse width modulation from your voice modulation from oscillator 3. It's using the oscillator 3 as the LFO source for this preset. But let me put my camera on my tripod and I'll walk you through some of the sounds of this thing and just give you a good overview of how well it works. And I think you're going to be really happy with it. Here we go. So anyways, you can hear. Octave shift button, so you can go up an octave. Sounding preset there, and yet you actually got modulation where you can put on oscillator 1. Your mono section works. As you can hear, we'll go through another preset. Now this is the bass preset here, and this is actually one you got to be careful with because it will blow windows out, especially when you got hooked to a big amplifier. It's make the attack really fast on it. It's just a really good sound, especially when you hit that low end on the octave shift. And that's the Moog filter you're hearing there. That's actually a true discrete ladder filter. Here's a cool preset too. This is one of my favorite presets. It's like a vocal piece. Good sounding preset. An organ. Really good sounding preset. And what you're hearing there, actually, go here. What you're hearing there is actually you're hearing oscillator 3 uses an LFO source, but it's tracking the keyboard, and it's being used for the filter. And that's where you're hearing this. It's a really cool sound. So that's just a square wave preset. Here's like a bell sound, which is really great. It's a really cool sound there. And these are the factory presets. Something I forgot to mention is that when I got this, you was missing some presets. And so I cleared the computer and I actually reloaded the tape data from the factory of the factory sounds. So you've got all the presets that would have been on this thing originally from the factory. That's oscillator sync sound there. Reminds me of the Cars, very 80s. It's a nice simple kind of bell. Cool sound. Once again, that's oscillator. That's actually your modulation source up here doing that. Actually, you got a fixed amount using your modulation amount, and then you're using the wheel just to engage more. That's what you're hearing there. And if you can hear my walls right now, I'm actually vibrating the ceiling with this thing. It's that powerful. Kind of an 80s trumpet sound. Like a pop organ sound there. This is another example of a bell pattern. Really good sound, especially when you go low octave on some of these sounds. the Memorymoog, you'll find that the controls, you'll find a lot of the octaves need to be up an octave because they get muddy, really muddy if you go low. The low is really for basses, and it really comes out. And of course, you got your oscillator octave shifts as well, so you can change your octaves of your actual oscillators. That sample and hold, it's changing the pulse width of your oscillator. It's actually oscillator 2. And also what it's got too. Actually, I take that back. That's actually, it's changing the frequency, and it's synced to oscillator 1. If we turn that off, you'll hear oscillator 2's frequency. This would be a great time to show you too how this works. So I'll just kind of show you your octave shifts here. We'll set octave of oscillator 1 to 4. Oscillator 2 will make it a 16. Actually, something's happened there. Not paying attention. I had your oscillator sync on. That always affects your wave shape. Now you can hear the sounds with 2 oscillators. This is just 2 oscillators. No oscillator sync. Oscillator 3 an octave 8. So now you get something like this right here. We'll detune it. Make it a 5th. Sounds and really great pads. This thing produces some very nice pad sounds. Very rich sounds. That's what makes this thing so great. Excuse the train. I've got a train going by outside. Wait till it passes for a minute. It's just some really great sounds. There's 100 presets on this. I'm just going through just a few of them here for you. Weird stuff. Of course, you got polyphonic glide too. So, let me get this thing set where it sustains longer. just some really cool sounds. That's a very simple preset I'm using that on too, but you can get some really complex, especially if we go back to pads. This one here. Yeah, here we go. Great sounds. That's using the glide circuit with preset 21. That's probably one of my favorite presets too. I got a lot of favorites actually. Kind of a clavichord kind of sound. That one's got the glide turn on in the preset. Vibrating on this one too. And like I say, some of these presets are very simple, but some of them are very complex. Organ. Just another weird preset. Real cool preset there too. It's a really cool one. It's a really cool sounding one. That's a mono section with your glide. You can set your range too by this knob here for your pitch, so you can go. Really good sounds. That's a cool one. And this is our arpeggiator here. stepping through some of these presets so you can hear them. That's all your presets. I just kind of want to go through them and just kind of show you what you've got there. And so once again, Corey, I really appreciate you letting me work on this thing. I just want to make you a quick video just to show you that everything's working. And I'm about to get it all put back in the ATA case and get it ready to head your way. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And Corey and Robert, both of you, thank you so much for your business, and really appreciate you letting me work on your gear for you. All the best.